Midtown, there's a gaming center, a store, and a museum that's a destination for anybody who's nostalgic for the 80s or the 90s. We're headed to the Nintendo store at Rockefeller Center, so let's get out of here and relive some childhood memories. Here we are, the Nintendo store. You can see they got a cool statue of Mario right here. The store opened about 20 years ago, I think, and the whole idea is they sell a lot of commercial stuff, but they also release games here before they get released to the public a lot of the time. So in addition to being a gaming center where you can try out new games, they also have a cool museum that I've heard about that we're going to check out right now. So let's see what they have. A little disappointed. I was expecting to see the Nintendo glove, which was made famous by this movie.
Championship. This guy? What is that? Our glove.
The Wizard, which is about Fred Savage's brother trekking across the country to make it to the Nintendo World Championship game. The glove always looked really cool. I didn't really understand the purpose of it. It looked like you wore it on one hand and just press buttons with the other, so really it kind of rendered one of your hands unusable. But it looked super cool, and when you were 12, that was the only thing you really cared about.
Virtual Boy. See it now in 3D.
Okay, this is the Virtual Boy. You might have seen this before. It's considered one of the biggest disasters in Nintendo history. I think it's the second worst selling console. The first one is some weird iteration of the Nintendo 64 or something like that. Okay, I was sort of right. It was the Nintendo 64 DD, which is this big looking thing right here. It's a Nintendo 64 console with some type of disk drive at the bottom. I have no clue what the purpose was, but they seem to think it was going to work. This, if you remember, was Nintendo's first attempt at trying to do 3D or virtual reality, and you sort of sat up close to it, and it was totally black inside, and it was sort of like the Game Boy, but instead of green and black, it was a black background set on red LED. So it was super creepy. They didn't take it off the market, but one of the warnings they had to have on the box was that it can cause children to have a lazy eye. And I guess if you look at it, it's like a pair of goggles. Inside the pair of goggles is actually two screens. So if you drop the Virtual Boy and one of the screens shifted, it would sort of force your eyes to go in opposite directions, which would eventually cause children to have lazy eyes. They didn't take it off the market, but they put a warning on the box and you played at your own risk. It sort of got some Nintendo nostalgia, but it's, again, one of the worst selling consoles that they ever had. Nintendo store was a little underwhelming. They had a bunch of newer things, but they lacked some stuff in the museum that I had seen on the internet, like the glove I had talked about earlier, or the touchpad, or just some of the other weird controllers and things they had for Nintendo. But it was cool to go just to see what they had, and maybe in the future they'll add some new stuff. Well, until next time.